This is Tanya Bridge Malone back with another YouTube video. So today, just sitting in a parking lot, ready to speak the word of Christ. Don't know what I'm to speak of, but I don't know. This last 2 or 3 days, I just been laying around, shooting videos, doing a few things, maybe a few dance videos or whatever, but I ain't got money to go down the road all the time. I came out to get me a pack of cigarettes with some change, but I ain't got no money for a coffee, which I quit drinking coffee. I miss drinking my coffee, trust me. It is what it is. And my son, he quit his job, so I guess they lowered him down to 19 hours a week. And another friend he got on there, he was only going to get 6 hours a week. I said, well, hell, ain't no point going out there for, I had an interview the other day at a gas station for 15 hours a week, and I thought, well, this gas station's confined. I haven't been offered a job yet, but I don't think I'm going to take it because it's only 15 hours a week. And it's $10.50 an hour, which any money beats nothing, but my thing is 15 hours, that ain't even worth going and getting up to go work for. You can barely have enough gas to get your ass to work, And first of all, I don't like being in confined spaces, and that's a confined space. It's just a little small freaking area, and I don't... I deal with, I'm claustrophobic, so I probably wouldn't accept that job anyway. And I'm just saying that I'm not going to accept the job because, not that job because it's confined space. I really wasn't thinking about that when I put in for that place. But I told them, I said, when they asked me about confined spaces, I said, I don't like confined spaces. It's really hard to find a job around here that I can actually do, that I'm going to like to do, and that's going to pay me a decent amount of money because I can't work in factories anymore because of my back. So, I don't know. I'm really on the verge of filing disability. There just ain't nothing in this town amount to nothing. All you got's fast food and restaurants, and even them don't want to hire you. I'd rather work in a restaurant. And any of those type of jobs consist of dealing with the public, you know what I mean? And it ain't always easy to deal with the public either, because they always got something bad mouth to say to somebody, and you got to sit there and take it. You can't be hateful to them. And I really think it was kind of bad. My son's hours got lowered plumb down to 19 hours a week. I mean, his insurance is $300 a month. That's why I don't know how you're going to pay your insurance. You ain't got no money put back. I said, you better hope something comes up soon. I said, I've been looking for a job for a month. I put in 25, 30 applications and got 2 interviews, and I didn't get either one of the jobs. Now, I did have that interview at that gas station Saturday, but my thing is, I ain't heard nothing. The lady said I'd hear something by the end of the day. I never did hear nothing, but I'm not worried about that job. Because the thing of it is, it's claustrophobic, and I don't like being in confined spaces, so I'm probably not going to accept the job if they do give it to me, because I don't want to take a job that I don't think I'm going to be able to do. One thing about it is, I don't like confined spaces, so I don't think that would be good for me. I wasn't thinking about that when I put in for the job, but it's better to refuse a job if you get offered a job than to take it and end up quitting. You know what I mean? And I just don't think that I'll do well in a confined space like that. In 15 hours a week, that ain't no money. Hell, I'd do well to pay your gas to get to work. So I don't think I'm going to worry about that anyway. And it might be picky, but hey, 15 hours a week ain't no money. And plus, I don't like confined spaces, so I don't think that'll be good for me. Gotta figure out what I'm going to fix to eat. My parents, it's their 3rd day racing. They drag race, and I didn't end up going, so I don't know. God loves us, though. Woke up to see another day. I'm blessed. I have a roof over my head. I have a car. I have my health. I'm doing good. Other than I ain't got no money, but as long as I got cigarettes, I ain't complaining. Got my insurance paid up till January. Hopefully something comes up that I actually want to do. Now, I put in for 2 positions at this Kroger's out here. They got a new apparel section coming in, so I put in for the deli and the apparel, so I am going to probably just show up at the damn store and see if I can talk to a manager and see if I can't try to get on a Kroger's. But I did put in for 2 positions there. But, there's just not a whole lot in my town. And if you drive out of town, if you ain't making $20-some an hour, it's not worth you driving out of town. No hour and a half or hour and 10 minutes to get to the job if you ain't making no more than $17 an hour. It ain't worth it. Because by the time you include your gas, driving 4 or 5 days a week, you're out $80 to $100 a week in gas just to get to work. You know, so by the time you include that out, you'd be better off to accept a job here in town that pays $10 or $11, $12 an hour. Because you're out $100 a week in gas. I know, I've done it before. But I was making $21.50 an hour. I wasn't making no damn $17 an hour. And they may think you all may think, well, you are to accept anything if you ain't got no job. Well, you know what? I'm willing to flip a burger. I'm willing to work at a restaurant. I'm willing to work a cash register, but I'm not willing to be in a confined space because I know I don't deal well with that. I have mental disorders and stuff, and I don't want to be, I don't want to be in a confined space where you're gasping for air and shit. Because all you got's a window. You got a door you can go out, but when you're busy, you ain't got time to do that. And that gas station gets pretty busy because a lot of people get gas and cigarettes there. And a lot of times when I stop there, that place is packed. And they told me everything it consisted of: running the cash register, keeping up with the pumps, cleaning the pumps, emptying the trash out by the pumps. Stocking the cigarettes in there, stocking and doing the lotto tickets, and stocking all the drinks and snacks and all that stuff they got outside there. That's a lot to do for $10.50 an hour, being in a confined space. Now, if I wasn't going to be in a confined space, it'd be different, but I wasn't thinking about that when I applied for that job. But there's other gas stations in town besides that one. I just don't want to be in a confined space. But some of these gas stations here in town stay open 24 hours a day. But that gas station there that I applied for, they only stay open to 12:30. But I was going to be working second shift, midday shifts, And they asked me if I could come in on the days, if there was a day I was off and somebody didn't show up, would I come in? And I thought, shit, I ain't going to be on call on a damn job. If I'm off, I'm off. And plus, if you're there by yourself, you're having to do all that yourself, wait on them customers and the lotto tickets and all that stuff. That's a lot for $10.50 an hour. Especially when you're only going to get 15 hours a week. That really ain't even worth getting up out of bed for. By the time they took taxes out, I wouldn't make $100 a week. It probably cost me half for sick. I'm looking for something that's going to give me at least 20 or 25 hours a week, 30 hours a week. But in this town, that's hard to find unless it's a damn factory job somewhere, But I'm just saying, God's for me, He's not against me. Nothing that formed against me shall prosper. There's power in the tongue. God is there for you even when you don't have a job. I know it's hard to stay positive when you don't have no money coming in. My thing is, I want to find a job, but I'm not just going to accept any job. I'm not going to accept a job where I'm confined in confined spaces. Now, I wasn't thinking about that when I applied for that job. But I'm not a person that likes to be in confined spaces. And y'all know why. I've got 4 mental disorders I've dealt with in the past, and I don't need to be in no confined space. Hell, I had an MRI done, and I didn't even want to do that. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't like it. It was opened on each end. I'm not good on confined spaces, so that just don't work for me. That's nothing I'd wish on anybody to have to get an MRI done. I'm glad I got it done, but I was glad to get out of there. Hell, I was in there for almost an hour. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I could deal in a confined space for no 15 hours out of the week. Ain't no way. And 15 hours ain't even worth getting out of bed for. Of course, I just live right down the road. Ain't but 5 minutes down the road, but it don't matter. It's going to cost me more gas than what the hell I'm going to be out, what I'm actually going to make. It ain't going to be worth it. I ain't worried about that. Maybe find something at Kroger's if they give me any hours. Be better than working there anyway. That place is union. Anytime you work in a store or work in a retail or restaurant, you're going to be working every weekend. At least when you work in factories, you have weekends off. But it is what it is. I don't do nothing anyway. I make these videos. That's about all I do. Write poetry. I ain't done that in a few days. I quit drinking coffee. Oh, well, it is what it is. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I ain't ate nothing today. It's almost probably after 3 o'clock in the day. I haven't even ate anything. I drank me a glass of chocolate milk. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Paid somebody for a beating to help me, and all that, and I ain't even got that. Ain't even been sent to me. It's been over 4 months. But if there's anybody out there that's not been saved, I want to take this time to ask if you'd ask Christ into your heart, and if you believe He died on the cross and arose from the dead 3 days later, then you're saved. So until next time, peace, love, and y'all be blessed.